Hello, my name is Tylluan. I'm a solitary pagan witch, I'm an author, and I founded the Wolf and Howl Press. And the dogs are just about to start up. Sorry about this. I'm even sitting here today with a towel on my lap in case Noah comes in because he's been playing in the mud. Anyway, today's little talk I thought I would do was about how we use puzzles to help us on a spiritual path. Now, you can argue all life is a bit of a puzzle, and that's very true. And we puzzle about things in different ways. But I've found on my path that I'm very keen on puzzles. I was brought up with crosswords and later on code words, and Sudoku has been a more recent addition, you know. And I actually like the idea of sitting down with pen and paper doing a puzzle. And weirdly, I find that this can help us in the sense that it engages a part of our brain in order to filter out what I would say is like a white noise, you know. And going back then, what does this mean? Well, I think we have several layers, if you like, of how the mind operates. We have the part which deals with all the everyday stuff, you know. In my case, well, am I muddy enough to have to wash my trousers? Or, you know, what dog food shall I buy this week? Or, well, anything, you know. Do I need new curtains in the bedroom? Stuff like that. All the everyday stuff that gets at us. And I always think of that. It's part of our conscious mind. We're very aware we're doing it. But what we're not quite aware of sometimes is that it buzzes away in the background. In other words, even when we're not consciously thinking of it, it tends to be jittering away, taking our attention, taking our energy. So what I find is very good about puzzles, and, you know, you pick the puzzle of your choice, is that puzzles engage that white noise bit of the brain, I find. I find they help us to think about things that really need to be thought about while actually doing something else. It can be playing a board game. That's another way of doing it. You know, you go and play Snakes and Ladders with a 5-year-old or something, and very soon you find that your brain is actually working a lot better. Now, a lot of people don't like doing this. They think, oh, why should I be building blocks or Snakes and Ladders, my example, or dominoes or what have you? Why should I be doing that when I've got far more important things to do? Well, actually, you know, it does us good. It does. It flattens down, it suppresses a lot of the white noise that builds up and is running in the background. And we're not really aware of it. We're thinking to ourselves, oh, you know, I'm doing fine. But actually, all this white noise is just getting us down. It's taking away, it's a bit like a computer, you know, when you suddenly go look at your computer and see how many, I don't know what they are, gigabytes or something, how much you've got left. And all of a sudden, I know sometimes I go and look at it and I think to myself, how did I use so much? Well, often it's all the rubbish we collect along the way, all the little itty bitties of information that gets downloaded without us knowing from websites, or the extra little bits we do when we save things. It's just mess in the background. So in a way, if we can't spring clean in any other way, sitting down and doing a puzzle is a very good way of bringing our minds to bear, I find, particularly on spiritual things. It's almost like the noise of shaking the dice or tapping the dominoes, or the visual patterns of things like Sudoku, or the way you have to think slightly differently if you're doing anagrams. It's that which sort of pushes all that rubbish to one side. It clears a path for us. I mean, yes, it will probably come back unless we do something more drastic about it, but on an everyday basis, and this is what I like to do in these talks, is talk about the everyday things, the little things we do. Not the great big impossible things that are going to set us up to fail, but the little things we can do to try and make life a little easier for ourselves. And in particular, to try and make our spiritual path a little easier to follow, a little easier to understand. So please go out, give it a try. See if it works for you. See which puzzles work for you. I mean, I find sometimes Sudoku will work very well for me, and other times it won't. Other times I need something else. So you do have to play around at it a bit, but I do find it does help us to operate on a slightly better level than the everyday one will allow us to do. It's not the same as meditation, no, not by any means. But it is a sort of halfway house, which is doable when we're trying to live our everyday lives. Anyway, it's just a thought. I always welcome comments below. Do consider subscribing if you'd like regular updates. And thank you very much for listening. Thank you. Goodbye.